Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Ithaqua's Bane, bringing you gaming goodness, and we are back with Legacy of Cthulhu RPG by 101 Games and mindsvision, and we are at day 8. Now, previously, day 7 was a little bit hectic. We came across a lady being chased by these abyssal spawns, these deep ones. And we noticed that she was pregnant, but we don't know pregnant with what, but we're assuming it's human. Got to role play this thing, yeah? But yeah, so now we actually have a whole bunch of survivors at the shelter. We've got my main character, Gunther. We've got Erin, Vivian, Indiana, and Lillian. Now, Indiana and Lillian are ticking time bombs. Lillian is, I rolled up that she was cursed by a spell, I think, but I'm reading it as her actually being pregnant by the abyssal spawn, because it said in the bestiary that's what they do. So at some point she's going to pop and out's going to come some kind of abyssal spawn or Dagon or Hydra or something really nasty. Think alien. Indiana, he's got a piece of Byaki claw stuck in his head, so he rolls at a disadvantage for everything. But I also rolled up that this guy's actually chaotic evil, and I created the story so that the claw is inhibiting that behavior. So if we ever find, I don't know, maybe the other shelter in, let's go to the map. So we're currently in this hex here, which is D3. We found another shelter here in E4. I think I rolled up that there were 7 survivors there. So this shelter has had some upgrades. So it may have an infirmary, in which case they may actually be able to help him. But that I might do that at on a future day. Currently, we have to do some shelter work, I think. Back to the book. Right. So yeah, we have upgraded the shelter once to increase the space. So we've currently got 1 spare space to build something. So in the last episode, Gunther and Vivian didn't really get physically hurt by the deep ones, the abyssal spawn, on day 7. But it did take a toll on our willpower. So I'm thinking that I might rest these guys for today. That will give them a pretty good boost in terms of the willpower. You can regain 1 willpower for every 8 hours of rest. So what I'm thinking is that Vivian and Gunther can stay in the shelter on day 8. That I'm thinking that would allow them a 16-hour rest period, so they would be able to regain 2 willpower each, which would be amazing. So what I'm actually thinking is maybe I'm going to take out the ladies. Now that sounds very wrong. Taking out the ladies, can have a bit of dinner. But I'm thinking that Erin and Lillian could go out, and I'm thinking that they could possibly go looking for some more parts. Because then that would allow me to either increase the technology and then the radio comms, or increase the space and then possibly get a vegetable patch, which would give me the ability to have more food. The ladies are going to go out searching for parts. They're going to take the guns with them. Hopefully, I mean, when we did the story for day 7, I think the way that the story evolved was that Lillian wasn't ready to pop just yet in terms of give birth. But because it's not human, who knows? She could pop at any time, maybe. What I'm thinking of, and I think there was some comments in the last video, is I'm going to wait for a relevant event to sort of activate the... Again, that sounds wrong. To activate the birth. But yeah, we've got 2 really bad ticking time bombs here that could really demolish the shelter. But it's all going to make a good story. So, give me 1 second to rearrange everything, and we will start day 8. Right. Hopefully, this will be a shorter video. I don't know, if it's very short, I might combine it with day 9. We'll have to see how it goes. But yes, the ladies are going to go out. We're going to travel to C3. Let's go back to the map. So we're starting here. This is D3. So I'm thinking that the ladies will go down to here, which is C3, into this ruins hex. So they'll use the motorcycle to come down to here. Now I am still using Gunther's figure. Actually, do I have a female figure? Let's use a female figure. Yeah, I've got a female figure here. There you go, from this war of mine as well. So we use the female figure for today's episode. So Erin and Lillian are going to move down to the ruins here, which is C3. Back to the book. And that's going to take half an hour because they're on the bike. And then at 6:30, they're going to search for parts. Now, with these resources, you've got, I think in all the cases, most cases, if not all cases, you've got 2 choices. You can either spend 3 hours and try and find D10, or you can spend 5 hours to find D10 plus 5. Table 25 here. Make sure that's on camera. Yes, it is. So I'm thinking that, again, because we're going to be doing the construction work on the shelter, which is going to take a 10-hour. Well, I say 10-hour. What I did last time was I actually used the power bonus to reduce the resources and the time equally, kind of thing. So it's about 10 hours to do the shelter work. So I'm thinking that I'm going to spend 3 hours with Erin and Lillian looking for parts. So I'm going to be able to get D10. And again, when you're searching for a specific item, you have to make a mind investigation check. God, how many times have I said that in this series? Where's the list? Here we go. Acquire a specific item, mind investigation check. Now, Erin has a mind of 3, but no investigation. Lillian has a mind of 2, but does have investigation. So we're going to be using her stat. She's getting a 2, a +2. So she's going to need a 6+ to try and find some parts and be a great start to the day. Unless that happens, in which case it's not going to be a very good start to the day. So what I'm thinking is we are going to re-roll. So we'll spend a point of willpower. So her willpower is now down to 6. I'm going to re-roll the die. Bum, bum. Okay, we find nothing. It's a completely wasted journey. Maybe we find some spare winter clothes. We find a nice outfit. But okay, so that was a complete waste of time. Let me write that down into the logbook. 1 second. So yeah, so we find nothing, and that takes 3 hours. So, oh dear, the dice. Maybe the dice are angry with me because I'm not using Gunther. Maybe. All right, so that takes 3 hours. So it is now 9:30. Now I could continue the search, maybe move to another area and continue the search, but then that's really going to have the work on the shelter go into the nighttime, which I don't really want to do because I'm thinking that may add a modifier possibly to the horde attack chance. I mean, if you're banging away in the middle of the night, somebody's going to notice, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking that it's really cold out. It's the eternal cold in Berlin. I'm thinking that they've spent 3 hours searching for parts. They really don't want to anymore. Lillian, like I say, is pregnant, so maybe she can't stay out for too long before she gets, the cramps and the pain and whatever just gets too much. So we'll roll for the event, and then I think I'm going to bring them back and we'll do the shelter action. So we're now going to be rolling for an event. We are in the ruins. Wreckage, ruins. Here we go. So again, green first. We get a 110. You come across an enemy attacking another survivor. Roll for a violent encounter on table 20. You are not the target, and choose an action. We've had this one before, haven't we? This was the one I think I had on the coast when Indiana was being chased, wasn't it? We had that Byakhee chasing him. So I'm going to roll this up, but I'm thinking that probably the girls aren't going to do anything. They're just going to hide and just wait for it all to wait for it all to sort itself out. So, roll for a violent encounter. Let me just quickly make a note. So I'll just put here, an enemy is attacking another survivor, violent encounter. Because the thing is, we don't have space for another survivor anyway. So table 20, is it? Table 20. Here we go. Violent encounter. Again, green first. We get a 2-4. 2-4. A group of 5 plus 10. A group of 15 children of Carcosa is walking by, guarding an heir of Carcosa. The air around them is heavy with a putrid yellow tint. So maybe they're not necessarily hunting, would that be the right word? But they're not in a hurry. It's like they know, maybe they've sort of hindered the survivor in some way. Not necessarily as bad as hamstringing them, but maybe sort of stabbed them a few times so that they can't keep running very fast. So this group of 15 children of Carcosa are kind of walking very confident, knowing that they're going to catch the guy very, very soon. The air around them is heavy with a putrid yellow tint. Yeah, I think the children of Carcosa are mainly found in London. Let me just double check. Children of Carcosa, these things. Oh, look. Ooh. Humans who have been affected by the areas of Carcosa are usually called the children of Carcosa. They become oblivious to the rest of the world, wandering mindlessly within locations dominated by Hastur. Actually, Hastur, don't the Byakhee worship Hastur? Yeah, look, the Byakhee serve Hastur. So maybe this is an area where the influence of Hastur is very strong. The heirs of Carcosa sit at a higher hierarchy and are more distant from humans, affected by a sinister metamorphosis that turns them into hideous, faceless creatures. They can control the children of Carcosa and have the power to summon the Byakhee to protect them. Ooh. Oh yeah, look, one of the reactions for the heir is to actually summon a Byakhee. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, I'm definitely thinking that the ladies are going to stay hidden and let this group of 15 children with an S, that's 16 enemies, just sort of go past them. But they're definitely sort of on the trail of this poor survivor and they can't do anything about it. Oh, and that's, well, I mean, sad, but this is a post-apocalyptic game, so can't afford to be sad. But yeah, it seems that this area of Berlin is definitely being influenced by Hastur, which is not a good thing. Let me write all this down. But I'm thinking that the children of Carcosa, they probably won't be able to see them anyway, based on what it says here. And I think that the limited interaction with the world around them is currently focused on that other survivor that they're hunting. So I'm thinking that I may not need to actually make any checks. I'll just have the ladies. The ladies are just going to hunker down in a patch of ruins, staying as quiet as they can, as hidden as they can, and then this foul group of creatures just passes by, and you can hear the screams and cries of the survivor in the far distance. Oh, that could have been really, really nasty. Only 16 enemies, no problem whatsoever. We had a lot of trouble with 7 in the last episode. It was 2, we took on 2, and then we took on 5. 16? Nope. Right, after that, the ladies are going to come back to the shelter. So I'm going to say that takes an hour. Standard value I think I'm using. So 9:30 becomes 10:30. And they're going to travel back to the shelter, which is D3, right? D3. Go back to the map. D3, yeah. So the ladies are going to move back to the map. Back to the shelter. Sort of shrugging and going, well, there were 16 of these horrible zombie things and we couldn't find anything and sorry and... But they did use 2 units of fuel. So we got 86 left. No extra parts, so I've still only got enough for this one shelter upgrade. And we're going to have to go out again and find some more parts, maybe on day 9. Didn't use any ammo. Didn't do nothing else. I mean, Lillian did use 1 willpower, but that was it. Right, we are back at the shelter, and we are going to increase the space by another point. That will then give us, if I can find it, that will then give us space of 5. I've used 3 space, 2 for the dormitory, 1 for the collector, and I'll then have 5 in total, which will give me 2 extra. And then once I find another 10 parts, I can then actually create either another dormitory or a vegetable patch or vegetable garden, whatever it's called. So let's go back to the section that talks about late game, because that's where, right. So increasing space. You can increase the space of your shelter. For that, you must succeed on a mind general knowledge check and then spend 10 parts and 10 hours for every extra space point. Okay. Now, in the meantime, I think, how long's gone? 4 hours. Okay, so I think we're going to have to use... I'm thinking that Vivian... Okay, so Vivian and Gunther have only been resting for 4 hours, I think, so far, right? You need 8 hours of rest to recover willpower, and it's only been like 4.5 hours. Oh, no. So this is half an hour. So they actually get back at 11. So they've been resting for 5 hours. That's not enough. So I don't think I can use Gunther and Vivian for the actual shelter work. I think it's going to be the other 3 guys. Okay, which means I can only use their stats. So it is mind general knowledge. So Lillian has a mind of 2, no general knowledge. Indiana has a mind of 3, no general knowledge, but he's going to be rolling a disadvantage. Or Erin, a mind of 3, no general. So we're only getting a +3 to the roll. Ooh. That's not good at all. No, I can't remember. If I fail this roll, I can't remember what I decided. Did I make a decision in the last video? If you fail the roll, does that mean you lose the time and the parts, or just the time? I'm thinking that if you fail the roll, you lose the time but not the parts. I think. Or would you use the parts as you're trying to do it? I don't know, actually. I honestly don't know. And I don't think I've seen anywhere that gives me the answer to that question. Maybe Jefferson, Bruno, or the guys at mindsvision will comment and tell us. Because if you screw up a roll and it costs you 10 parts, that's an expensive failure. Spend 10 parts and 10 hours for every extra space point. You must succeed on a mind check and spend 10 parts and 10 hours. Again, reading it could go either way. It could be read either way, that you lose everything, you use everything, even if you fail, or you don't. It can be read either way. That's the thing. So we ask the Oracle. We'll ask the Oracle. Okay, the Oracle's going to make a decision for the whole game. If I fail this check, do I lose the parts? An 8, yes. No! Okay. Okay, maybe I have to roll this every time I do the building, or I do the shelter work. Maybe I have to roll whether I actually use the parts or whatever. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be losing the parts no matter what happens. All right, so I'm going to do that every time I do this to make it fair. So we've currently got 12 parts. Hopefully I succeed, and hopefully I get a good power bonus, because then I won't have to use all 10, which is required. So we're going to make the roll. Mind general knowledge. Erin. So we're just getting a +3 to the roll. That's it. Oh no, +3 to the roll. Now the green dice hasn't been good to us, so we're going to be using the black and purple dice. So we need a 7. So I think because there's 3 people, I'm going to give myself an advantage. However, Indiana does everything with a disadvantage, so I think that's going to take an effect. All right, I'm just going to roll. Right, we need a 7+. We get a 4. Going to use a willpower point. So she's down to 7 willpower. We're going to re-roll. Come on. I mean, I've had really good luck with the dice so far in this series, with a few exceptions, but generally the dice have been good. Don't fail me now. Come on. Come on. We need a 7+. Yes. Okay. You've got to talk nicely to the dice. We succeed, but she did use a willpower point. But we do get another space point, which means that when I get 10 parts again, we can actually build ourselves something new. So we've got 5 space now. And we rolled a 9. So, okay, hang on. I need to... I didn't write it down. Hang on a sec. So, what did I put last time? Upgrade shelter. Okay, so, upgrade shelter. We're doing +1 space again. And this is a mind general knowledge check. We rolled a 9 +3 makes it a 12, so we get a +2 power bonus. Now, like, as I mentioned last time, the way that I'm using the power bonus with mind is different to what it says in the book. In the book, it says you get a bonus for your next relevant mind check. I'm not going to do that. I think that it should be applied to what you're doing whenever possible, no matter what you're rolling. And I think last time what we did is we split it equally between the resources and the time. So instead of taking 10 hours, it takes 9 hours. Yeah, -1, because we're doing it equally split. And instead of taking 10 resources, it's taking 10 -2, 10 -2. So this time it's 10 -1 parts and 10 -1 hours. So it's only taking us 9 parts, which is okay. So 9, we've got 3 parts left. Still need to go out and find some more. But we now have that extra space ready for either a dormitory or a vegetable garden. Excellent! That is good. Right, however, that takes 9 hours, so that brings us up to 8 o'clock at night. And now, this upgrading the shelter does actually count as an action. So we now have to do an event, and our shelter is underground. Last time we found, I think it was this one, a complete communication station that's in working condition. So that basically allows us to get the upgrade without the parts cost, but we still have to use the time cost. What's going to happen this time? So after we upgrade the shelter, we're rolling for an event, green first, underground, 3, 5. Okay, you come across someone. Maybe somebody stumbles upon our shelter, like we did with the guys in the other hex. So maybe somebody approaches the shelter. Roll for a neutral encounter on table 19. I will do that once I write it up. Right, someone approaches the shelter. Neutral event is table 19, 19, which is over here. Not that one. It's not that one, is it? It's the one over here. Right. So table 19, neutral encounters. Now, I'm hoping that it's not another survivor. Because if it is, we ain't got space. Green first, as always. We get a 4-2. 4-2. Oh no! An elderly couple wanders in their RV as if on a road trip. Oh no. Excuse me? Can you help me find a gas station? Okay, so an old couple drives past, maybe they drive past an area where, I don't know, how is that linked to an underground encounter? How did you get an RV? I mean, maybe there's, I mean, I'm thinking that there has to be a way for us to get the vehicles in, because you can add a garage to a shelter. And we've got a large car that I'm thinking of bringing back to the shelter at some point in the near future. So maybe there is a way for vehicles to come in. So maybe they've taken a wrong turn. They've come down. They've come down this sort of underground passageway in their RV, and they can't turn it around. And they stop at the shelter, and maybe they're asking for some fuel. Wanders in their RV as if on a road trip. So let's think. Maybe they ask for fuel. How much fuel do they need? How much fuel are we going to give them? Let's give them D4. D4? It's an old couple. Let's give them a D6. Let's give them a chance. So we chat with them. We don't. Am I going to let them in? I don't really want to let them in. Are we going to let them in? Oh, it's an old couple. It's an old couple. You've got to look after the elderly. Okay, we'll invite them in for dinner. We'll invite them in for dinner. We'll fill up their truck with petrol, maybe a D6. It costs D6 fuel. 4. Oh God. So we fill up their truck. We lose 4 fuel. So maybe we're now down to 74. Yeah? So down to 77. That's ammo. What am I doing? So it's still 81 fuel. 4. So down to 82 fuel. We invite them in for dinner before they set off on their way. I'm going to visit the kids. If they're still alive. So yeah, okay, let's let's do that. So by this time, Gunther and Vivian have recuperated 1 willpower. So Gunther's back up to 6, Vivian's back up to 7, and then over the night, then they'll gain another point. Okay. But we've now got to do the food. So the water collector generates 2, so we've got 20. We're going to be using 5 plus 2 for the older couple, so we're using 7. So we're now down to 13 food. Okay. So we feed the old couple. We refill their RV. We wish them good luck. They're like, oh, that's okay. We're going to see the kids. Going to see the kids and the grandkids. Probably don't exist. God knows what's in their minds. I mean, do they even know that there's monsters around? But we wish them well. We see them off. Actually, should they go in the morning or at night? Let's see. Do they want to leave straight after dinner, or do they want to stay for the evening and maybe leave in the morning? I'm sure we can put some rugs and rags on the floor for them to. Oh no, they've got an RV, haven't they? They can sleep in their RV. So are they going to leave immediately, or are they going to stay overnight in their RV outside the shelter? Are they going to leave immediately? Yes. Okay. So they do choose to leave immediately after eating. So, I mean, it doesn't really mean much unless there's a horde attack. If there's a horde attack, they may have been able to help us in terms of defending the shelter, but they go on their merry way, saying that they're going to see their grandkids. All right, so that is that done. So let me just write that down. Just put here. Elderly couple in an RV stop by. We fill up their RV. We invite them for dinner. They leave straight after dinner to go visit their kids and their grandkids. Because of course you do in a post-apocalyptic Cthulhu world. I don't know whether they're going to find. Maybe their kids are in the shelter next door in the next hex. We will never know unless they come back. So yeah, that's that done. So I'm going to say this could possibly take maybe 2 hours in terms of greeting them, talking, filling up the thing, having dinner, everything. So I'm going to make that as a 2-hour event. So then that makes it 2200. So it's 10 o'clock at night. We've got to check. We've got to check for horde attack. Okay. Check for the horde attack. So on a D10, on a 1 or 2, we get attacked in the night. And we're safe again. My God. I mean, I don't want to say nothing, but I don't know whether you guys are waiting to see how horde attacks work. Well, you're going to have to wait at least another day because we're safe. The horde attack rules are very simple, nothing really that complex, but it can definitely be scary in terms of a good chance of you losing your shelter. Actually, that's another thing. Maybe, let me check something. Because in your shelter, you can actually build secret passages. A network of hidden tunnels that safely takes you from your shelter to an adjacent tile that must be chosen right after selecting this upgrade. So that basically allows you to escape without having to make any rolls. Normally, if the horde overcomes your shelter, you can either stay and fight or make body athletics checks to kind of run away. Secret passage allows you to escape safely, but you lose the shelter. It only requires one space, so I could actually do that. That's gonna, again, it's going to cost 10 parts. It's going to cost 10 parts. Upgrading. So yeah, mind general knowledge check or mind technology check. Spend 10 parts and 10 hours for every space or technology point required by the chosen upgrade. So if I want to add a dormitory, it's going to cost 20 parts and take 20 hours. Ooh, I really need to go searching for more parts because I'm thinking that the secret passage should be the next one to do rather than the vegetable garden or the dormitory. But I will think about that before we do day 9. This is day 8 and day 8 is complete. I have deducted everything that we have used. Let's move that out of the way. Except for willpower. Okay, so everyone gets a good night's sleep. So everybody gets back another willpower. So Gunther is now at 7 out of 9. Vivian is back to full. Erin is back to full. Leonin is back to full. Indiana's looking around wondering what the hell is going on. And that's it. Another day. We've survived another day. But, I mean, we created another space point for the shelter, but that's it. We met a nice elderly couple who were talking about their kids who live down the road. Yeah, but that's day 8 done. We survive another day. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying these. Keep the views up and I will keep doing the videos. I'm thinking that I'm going to try and do at least to day 10. Maybe on day 9 or day 10, maybe there will be a horde attack and I can show you how those work. But I'm thinking that maybe we'll be looking at day 10 as possibly being the final part of this series because I've got a lot of other games that I want to cover, as I mentioned in the Happy New Year video. But yeah, hope you're enjoying this. If you are interested in the game, I'll put all the relevant links in the description below. Once again, I do have an Amazon wishlist if you guys do want to help and donate things for the channel. On the wishlist, I've got things such as content material, but also things that will help the channel as a production quantity. But yeah, don't worry if you can't afford it or you don't want to. It's perfectly fine. Just being here, watching, liking, subscribing, commenting. That's all I ask. That's all I ask, and that's all I need. All right, guys. I will get starting to edit this and I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care, stay safe, cheers.